Good morning, friends. So yesterday I left you on this page with Sarah and Susan, and they were starting to look and describe Aunt Flossie's hats. So you posted your visualizations yesterday, and I have to say 1, 2 thumbs up. You are amazing at this skill. I loved your writing, so keep up the good work, all right? So are you ready to check? If you want, you can have your Making Meaning book next to you. How accurate were you with the hats? So now we're gonna dig into each of the hats and the story that they tell. Remember, each hat had a story, a memory from Aunt Flossie. Remember those because we are going to brainstorm them later. So if you need to grab your Making Meaning book, if you want to check to make sure your pictures, how accurate they are or how close they are to the real one, and your reader's notebooks, all right? So here we go. On Sunday afternoon, I picked out a woolly winter hat, sort of green, maybe. Aunt Flossie thought a minute. So here's the hat. Aunt Flossie almost always thinks a minute before she starts a hat story. Then she sniffed the woolly hat. Do it with me. Just a little smoky smell now, she said. Sarah and I sniffed the hat too. Smoky smell, Aunt Flossie? What do you think the memory is with this hat? The big fire. Aunt Flossie said, the big fire in Baltimore. Everything smelled of smoke for miles around for days and days. Big fire didn't come near our house on Center Street, but we could hear fire engines racing down St. Paul. I want to stop for a minute because in our Making Meaning books are our vocabulary words. So I want you to see if you can hear any of them, and we'll kind of point them out too. Horses' hooves clattering, bells, whistles. Your great-grandma and I couldn't sleep. We grabbed our coats and hats and ran outside, worried about Uncle Jimmy's grocery store, worried about the terrapins and crabs. Big fire in Baltimore. And here was one of our clattering, our vocabulary words. The horse's hooves, remember, making the loud noises. Aunt Flossie's eyes closed. I think she was seeing long ago. I wondered about crab cakes. Did they have crab cakes way back then? Then Sarah sniffed Aunt Flossie's hat. No more smoky smell, she said, but I thought I could smell some, just a little. All right, so that's our first hat. Remember it. I want to remember how to describe it and the memory that it has. Then Sarah tried a different hat. Dark, dark blue with a red feather. This one, Aunt Flossie, this one. Aunt Flossie closed her eyes, and thought a minute. Oh my, yes, my, what an exciting day. We waited, Sarah and I. What happened, Aunt Flossie, I asked. Big parade in Baltimore. Ooh, parades, said Sarah. We love parades. I made that hat, Aunt Flossie said, to wear to watch the big parade. Buglers bugling, drummers drumming. Flags flying everywhere. The boys, soldiers, you know, back from France, marching up Charles Street, proud, everyone cheering, everyone shouting. The Great War was over. The Great War was over. So they didn't necessarily say this vocabulary word, but can you think of a word that would describe the parade? Do you remember the vocabulary word that's showing kind of what these people are doing? Celebration, yes. Let's have a parade, I said. Sarah put on the dark blue hat. I found a red one with a furry pom-pom. We marched around Aunt Flossie's house. March with us, Aunt Flossie, I called, but she was closing her eyes. She was seeing long ago. Maybe she was dreaming about crab cakes, Sarah said. Then we looked in the very special box. Look, Aunt Flossie, here's your special hat. It was the big straw hat with pink and yellow flowers and green velvet ribbon. Aunt Flossie's favorite best Sunday hat. It's our favorite story because we are in the story and we help Aunt Flossie tell it. So here they are. They're all in the story. All right, are you ready? Aunt Flossie smiled. One Sunday afternoon, she said, we were going out for crab cakes. Sarah and Susan and Mommy and Daddy, I said. And Aunt Flossie, said Sarah. Aunt Flossie nodded. We were walking by the water and the wind came. What do you think? Make a prediction. What's going to happen to the hat when the wind comes? Can you visualize it? Close your eyes. Paint a picture. All right, open them. Is this what you visualized? Let me tell it, I said. The wind came and blew away your favorite Sunday hat. My favorite best Sunday hat, said Aunt Flossie. It landed in the water. It was funny, said Sarah. I didn't think so, said Aunt Flossie. And Daddy tried to reach it, I said, but he slid down in the mud. Daddy looked really surprised and everyone laughed. He couldn't rescue my favorite best Sunday hat, said Aunt Flossie. And Mommy got a stick and leaned far out. She almost fell in, but she couldn't reach it either. The water rippled and your favorite best Sunday hat just floated by like a boat. Now comes the best part, and I'll tell it, said Sarah. A big brown dog came. It was walking with a boy. May we help you? The boy asked. My dog Gretchen can get it. The boy threw a small stone. It landed in Aunt Flossie's hat. Fetch, Gretchen, fetch. Fetch, Gretchen, fetch. What is the dog doing? It's another one of our vocabulary words. Can you think of it? Let's see if they mention it. Gretchen jumped into the water and swam. She swam and she got it. Gretchen got Aunt Flossie's hat. Hooray for Gretchen! We all jumped up and down. Hooray for Aunt Flossie's hat. It was very, very wet, said Aunt Flossie, but it dried fine, almost like new. My favorite best Sunday hat. What did the dog do to the hat? Do you remember the vocabulary word? Retrieve. I like that story, I said. So do I, said Sarah. And I like what happened next. We went to get crab cakes. Crab cakes, said Aunt Flossie. What a wonderful idea. Sarah, Susan, telephone your parents. We'll go get some crab cakes right now. Have you ever had crab cakes? Yummy. I think Sarah and I will always agree about one thing. Nothing in the whole wide world tastes as good as crab cakes. But crab cakes taste better after stories. Stories about Aunt Flossie's hats. All right, so that is another great story with lots of adjectives, describing words that help us visualize and paint a picture. So in this story, they talked about some specific hats. They talked about 3 memories that went with the hats. Can you remember the first one? What was the first hat? And I'll show you. How would we describe that hat? Do you remember? The woolly green hat. So in your writer's notebooks, I want you writing Aunt Flossie's hats. And we're gonna brainstorm all three, and then I'm going to let you be the author and write about which hat you like the best. So the first one was the green woolly hat. And we're not gonna write a whole bunch, but what was the memory with the green woolly hat? Do you remember? She smelled that one. Why did she smell that one? Because of the fire, right? The fire in Baltimore. So we can go ahead and let's just get in the habit of always skipping lines. So let's skip a line and then we can write fire in Baltimore. And make sure you're capitalizing Baltimore. All right, then let's skip a line. What was the second hat? Do you remember what the second hat looked like? This one was pretty. How did they describe that one? A dark, dark blue hat with what? A red feather. And what was the story? What was the memory with that one? You remember, we're just writing a little blurb, but you're gonna go in deeper and tell me a little bit more. And if you have to go back and kind of watch the story again, that's fine. It was the celebration, right? The big what? The parade. And then there was the third hat. How would you describe the third hat? What would you say? It was straw. And what did it have all around it? Flowers, right? Straw hat with flowers. And what happened? Where were they? What happened with that straw hat? Do you remember? It blew into the water, right? So I want you to take a minute and I want you to think about, out of the three hats and the memories, which one did you like the best? So on the next page in your writer's notebook, I want you to take a couple minutes and I want you to write about your favorite hat story, okay? So that is the first thing you want to do in your writing, is tell me which one was your favorite. But then you need to tell me what happened in that story. I want you to make sure you are sequencing. So you are using your sequencing words. You are talking about the beginning, the middle, and the end of that story. Okay? And then, why was it your favorite? So again, all these directions are going to be on Schoology. But I want you to take a couple minutes, and if you need to go back and look and listen to the stories for each hat, you can, okay? But I want you to tell me which one is your favorite, what happens in that story, and I want you to try to sequence it as best as you can. Tell me the beginning, middle, and end. Some of the stories were a little bit shorter. And then why it was your favorite. So really, you should have 3 to 5 sentences when you are done. All your sentences better start with a capital letter. They must make sense and end with a what? Punctuation mark. Once you are all done, you are going to go to the discussion post. And you don't have to take a picture of your writing today. I just want you to nicely type in which hat was your favorite. My favorite hat story was because So you're going to tell me, you don't have to do all of the writing on your discussion post, just your favorite hat and why it was your favorite. And remember, I'll have all the instructions in Schoology, all right? So have fun. High five on your visualizing skills. I hope you liked Aunt Flossie's hats as much as I do. I'll talk to you later.